Shout out to Skillshare for sponsoring this episode. Develop your skills for less than $10 a month, and the first 500 people to sign up get the first 2 months for free. Just visit skl.sh/theknow to get started.
Oh, no.
Welcome to The Know, I'm Brian. There's a lot of expectation that's already built up around Anthem, the new sci-fi IP from developer BioWare, but most of what we've seen so far seems to revolve around multiplayer elements and players inhabiting a shared world similar to Destiny. That's what a lot of people have compared it to. But that's got some gamers worried about Anthem's story, or lack thereof, which is especially disturbing considering that BioWare, they're historically known for telling great stories. Well, BioWare GM Casey Hudson addressed those concerns in a blog post that was aimed at players who might not be all that interested in multiplayer. He wrote that Anthem, quote, creates a unique experience where you have control over your own story, but your story is set in an ever-changing multiplayer world. He also added, and yes, even though Anthem is meant to bring out the best parts of playing as a part of an online community, you can choose to play through the story with only your friends, or even on your own. We'll know more soon though. Hudson said that in a few weeks, they'll be showing Anthem live to fans at EA Play in Hollywood, and they'll share more details then. One of the most popular streamers these days, he's trying to clean up his act, but some fans, they're not happy about it. Ninja, aka Tyler Blevins, who has made a name for himself by being really good at Fortnite and for his streams with celebrities like Drake, he's trying to swear less on his streams these days. In interviews, he said that he's doing it to be a better role model for kids, and recently he tweeted that he's even going to apply a rating system to his YouTube videos, basically similar to movies, PG, PG-13, and R. But now some of his fans have accused him of trying to go mainstream with the new clean look. Well, his wife and manager Jessica Goach addressed those concerns in a tweet of her own, saying, "To everyone mad at Ninja for not swearing as much anymore, Tyler feels a moral obligation to tone it down for the younger ears." She added that she's proud of him for making the change, and added, "He will still have some crazy nights and play with people who have quite the vocabulary. For the younger ears and eyes, they will have the rating and parents will know." Nintendo might have a bunch of mystery Switch games still in the works for this year. That's it's kind of a rumor, but recently a GameStop employee tweeted an image of 15 unknown Switch SKUs in the store's computer system. Twitter user Satomi Famicom tweeted yesterday, "We have 15 unknown Nintendo Switch games in our computers to reserve as of this morning. The untitled games, they were all listed at $59.99 with a release date of December 31st of this year. We know, obviously, those are placeholders, but it could mean that Nintendo's going to announce a bunch of stuff at E3 next month. I'm stoked. Anything on the Switch is good." Bethesda, speaking of teases, they're teasing something interesting, but we're not really sure what it is. Over the last day or so, they've tweeted various images that feature splashes of pink paint along with the numbers 5 and 14. One image was of the famous Big Ben clock tower, another showed a rocket taking off, and a third showed a busy urban crosswalk. They all got pink, sort of the pink, kind of almost a Splatoon look, but I'm sure it's not that. Again, we're not sure what it means, but if the 514 means May 14th, then we'll know more soon. But interestingly, a lot of people think it might be a tease for Rage 2, and recently the Rage Twitter account kind of reactivated and slammed Walmart, because you might remember yesterday we talked about that Walmart Canada leak. It did have a listing for Rage 2, so maybe. Meanwhile, it looks like Bethesda has big plans for E3 next month, which may or may not include Rage 2. Bethesda Global Marketing Executive Pete Hines tweeted, "We have a lot to show you this year. Might be our longest E3 showcase ever. Not sure, but it's packed." Now, we told you about the special skin for the Overwatch character Mercy. It's pink, it's awesome, and it's being sold for a good cause, breast cancer research. Well, Sony came under some fire recently after some people thought that they might be taking a share of that money. That's because on the Xbox One page for the skin, the wording said Blizzard Entertainment will donate 100% of the purchase price for your purchase of the Pink Mercy skin on Xbox. But on the PlayStation 4 page, it said Blizzard Entertainment will donate 100% of the proceeds that it receives from Sony PlayStation. That slight difference in wording, plus a discrepancy between the sale price and the amount Sony said it would donate, made some people think that Sony might be keeping some of that money. But in a statement, Sony said nope, they're not making any profit from the sale of the skin, so controversy over. Hopefully. Don't keep that money, Sony. Just don't do it. Now, fans were pissed online after Fox announced that it was canceling Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but there might be life after death for the series. The cop comedy that stars Andy Samberg, Terry Crews, Chelsea Peretti, a lot of others. It won't be coming back for a 6th season, despite having a loyal audience. It's a bit of a cult hit. Celebs like Lin-Manuel Miranda, Seth Meyers, and Mark Hamill also tweeted their anger about the show being canned, but all might not be lost. A bunch of people were reporting that there's been interest from other outlets about picking up the show, including Hulu, Netflix, maybe even another network like NBC or TBS. We've seen this happen before. It's not unheard of. Arrested Development moved to Netflix after it was canceled by Fox. The Mindy Project moved to Hulu after 3 seasons on Fox. So keep hope alive. It might not be done yet. Now, Jon Favreau did an interview recently and spilled some Star Wars beans, so let's get into it. You might remember that the Iron Man director was picked to showrun a live-action Star Wars TV show for Disney's streaming service. Up until now, that's pretty much all we've known, but Favreau said that the Star Wars show will take place 7 years after the events of Return of the Jedi, and it'll introduce a whole new set of characters. So this makes the second Star Wars TV show to be taking place between Jedi and Force Awakens, the other being the animated Resistance that's run by Rebels' Dave Filoni. Favreau's live-action show, it's expected to be one of the big draws available when Disney's streaming service launch. That's planned for next year. Rick and Morty fans, get happy. We got some good news. It doesn't involve Szechuan sauce either. It involves more Rick and Morty. Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon's often obscene and always hilarious show. It's been picked up by Adult Swim for another 70 episodes. Yeah, that's a lot. To put that in perspective, Rick and Morty currently clocks in at 31 episodes in 3 seasons over 4 years, so you're about to get a whole lot more. At this rate, we're looking at well over a decade of new Rick and Morty. That's 10 more years of time travel, sex robots, sharp commentary, wrapped up in vulgar jokes, and probably another half dozen excuses for Rick and Morty fans to go to McDonald's. We don't have air dates yet, but the order is in and the writers are back at work, so it's good news. But unfortunately, we have a little bit of bad news to end on. We finally have a date for when net neutrality protections will end here in the US. The Federal Communications Commission says that its net neutrality repeal will go into effect on June 11th. That's definitely going to be a dark day for open internet advocates. This all comes after the FCC voted to repeal net neutrality last year. That means basically that the agency was rolling back so-called neutrality regulations that stop ISPs from blocking websites or charging extra for certain content. The idea behind net neutrality was to prevent an internet fast lane where people or businesses could pay more for faster access to certain websites. But FCC Chairman Ajit Pai cheered the repeal as a victory for consumers. Pai, who is a former Verizon employee, just keep that in mind, said in a release, now on June 11th, these unnecessary and harmful internet regulations will be repealed and the bipartisan light touch approach that served the online world well for nearly 20 years will be restored. And we should note, virtually every tech company and internet rights group strongly disagrees with that. And he used to work for a telecom. The Electronic Frontier Foundation urged people to lobby Congress to step in, saying a simple majority vote in Congress can keep the FCC's decision from going into effect. So we'll see what happens between now and then. Well, that's about all the news we got. For more on stories from every corner of the internet, be sure to like this video. If you're new around here, subscribe to the know. Thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring this update. Skillshare is an online learning community offering more than 20,000 classes across tons of interests: design, business, photography, film, writing, animation, film production, marketing, productivity, web development. Basically, if you want to learn about something, they've got something to teach you. It's pretty broad, right? So here's some good classes you can try. Customizing type to create word marks, logo design, self-portraits, duotone vector illustration, UI design essentials, beginning web design, pixel art fundamentals, and about 20,000 more. Skillshare believes in accessible learning, and the price reflects that. An annual subscription with unlimited access to classes, it's less than $10 a month. Try getting a single college textbook for that. won't happen. And since Skillshare is sponsoring this video, the first 500 people to visit the promo link get their first 2 months free to try it out with no obligation. Just visit skl.sh/theknow or click the link in the description so you don't have to type it out.